This is the upcoming Nike Vomero Plus, a gimmicky shoe that only exists to fill a hole in Nike's new running shoe lineup. Or it's the most comfortable shoe Nike has ever made. Let's find out. So I've been wear testing these things for a couple days now, wearing them side by side with the Vomero 18. I've ran in them, worn them to the gym, and just tried to get as many steps in as possible to find out how good these things actually are. And so today we're going over the good, the bad, and everything in between, along with what I actually think this pair of shoes is best for. So let's kick this off with the bad. Why not? Let's just get that straight out, because that was one of the first things I kind of felt when I pulled these out of the box. It almost borderline felt like a scam. You see, Nike's new running shoe lineup has a very specific way of marketing. It's a tier system. So with their three main models, the Structure, the Pegasus, and the Vomero, each one of those has an icon, the base model, a plus version, and a premium. And of course, the price increases every level that you want to go up to, about $30 increase per shoe. Now, what that immediately does from a marketing perspective is subconsciously tell people that the bottom, the base version, is the worst, and then the premium one is the best. It really makes people think that they're getting a better pair of shoes if you spend more money, instead of just like how we normally used to do it, which was they're just all different shoes. Pick which one you like. Now, it's important to know all of that because that was the frame of mind I was in when I pulled these out of the box. I stuck my hand into the shoe and immediately realized there's a lot of sidewall on this cushioning. It's not as big as it looks. So from the outside, obviously you look like you're getting the largest stack of foam you have seen on a Nike shoe. But in reality, on the inside and what you're actually walking on is significantly less than that, almost half. And that puts these at the exact same amount of cushioning as the base version, the Vomero 18. So both of these are a 45mm stack height, no difference. So that to me just kind of felt like a little bit of a marketing gimmick where it's like, you know, you look like more cushioning, the better the shoe, and that's why you're paying so much more, because side by side, I mean, you can see which one looks beefier. It's pretty clear. So the exact retail price of these is going to be $180 versus the 18s, which are $150, so a $30 premium. And I will say, after I calmed down from that little experience and I actually wore these things around and wear tested them, I did change my mind a little bit. They're not a complete scam. So the biggest change up, or the biggest upgrade between these two shoes, is the fact that you're now getting a full-length Zoom X cushioning in the Plus versus this one, which had a little bit of a hybrid approach. You got a little bit of Zoom X on the top, and then the rest of it was React X. So ultimately, that means that the Vomero Plus is a much more soft and plush experience when you're walking around. Now, don't get me wrong, the Vomero 18 is a phenomenally comfortable pair of shoes. In fact, in my opinion, it was the most comfortable shoe that Nike had made up until these. Now, the Vomero Plus also has another big challenge ahead of it because it now replaces the Invincible 3. And the Invincible running line was an extremely beloved, I guess, model from Nike. It was their most max cushion shoe up until these. And I will say, straight out of the gate, you're getting a pretty substantial upgrade with the Vomero Plus in comparison to the Invincible 3, so they check that box. Now, we'll get into why in just a second. I do just want to run through some of the specs of this pair of shoes and give it a little bit of a rundown, a comparison to the base version. So, for starters, these are going to be releasing on August the 7th. And when these do release, a lot of people are going to be questioning, should they be paying that extra money for the Plus version, or are they just fine with the 18s? Well, the biggest separation between these two is the midsole. Now, that is going to be full-length Zoom X, which I'm sure a lot of people have experienced. It's Nike's most plush and comfortable cushioning system that they have. Now, on top of that, they also did some upgrades to the upper, so now you're getting a little bit more of a, I guess, more of a distinct, clean look on the upper. It's now a thin mesh overlaid by a thinner plastic mesh, whereas these do also have two layers, but it's just more of a fabric option, which is going to be a little bit less breathable than these. Now, the Plus is also lighter because Zoom X just inherently is a lighter foam and you're not getting as much in the 18, so you do feel that on foot. But honestly, in this category of shoe, the max cushion, where most people are just going to be walking around in these things casually or going on recovery runs, weight isn't the biggest issue here, and it's very similar. It's not like these are just 10 times lighter. It's comparable. Now, like I said, midsole looks way bigger on the Plus, but that is a little bit misleading. You are walking on the same amount of foam between both of these. So even though these do look slimmer, which some people might like aesthetically speaking, but yeah, both are 45 millimeters. Now, wearing these side by side, you do definitely feel that ZoomX. These are a lot softer. You can immediately feel that when you step in, which some people do like. They like the more cushioned, soft approach, whereas other people do want something a little bit more firm and stable, like the Vomero 18s. So honestly, you might not even want to call it an upgrade, you might just want to call it different, which is what, you know, it's a different running shoe. Now, they also upgraded the ankle padding just very, very slightly, so you do just get a little bit more of that padding around this ankle area when compared to the Vomero 18. I always thought that the Vomero 18 was very well padded, and you really did feel that, but these, I mean, they've gone a step above here, because this feels incredible. Super soft material, especially this tongue, it literally feels like a pillow. It's pretty insane. Now, you also get some cool additions like the reflective elements that you find on this pair of shoes on the upper, the Nike swoosh, and this little piece on the front, on the toe box. Another upgrade on the Plus is the outsole traction. So now you're getting a full-length traction pattern, which does feel more stable and, of course, more durable over time, whereas this one is a little bit segmented from the rear and the front. Now, as for sizing, it's pretty much identical. Now, I did decide to go a half size up with these. I just wanted a little bit more room, but that was a little bit of a mistake. I should have gone with true to size, just like I did on the Vomero 18s. They fit the same, and yeah, I would stay true to size. That's what I'm going to recommend to you. So in summary, should you pay the extra 30 bucks for these things? Is it necessary? Well, in my humble opinion, I do think that these two shoes are a lot closer than they are different. Both are great and ideal options for daily training runs, perfect for everyday wear if you're going to be on your feet for a long time, or you just want something to walk around in. If you're someone who likes to get your 10K steps in, either of these are going to be great options. It really does come down to preference of, do you like that really soft cushioning underfoot? Because that's what you're getting with this Plus version. Honestly, I do believe that if you're someone who doesn't have the budget for these things, or you don't want to pay that extra 30 bucks, I don't think you're missing out on a whole lot, because these are really comfortable. Like I said, they were the most comfortable shoe that I had tried from Nike up until these things. I will say that they are a little bit more comfortable, but that's just because they're a little bit lighter and a lot more soft, and that's something that I do like in a pair of shoes. But generally speaking, the takeaway here for me is that I think Nike might struggle to sway people to actually spend that 30 bucks on this pair of shoes. I don't think it's as significant as an upgrade as the price point puts it. Now, that's from the, you know, the spec sheet. If we look at it in the marketing perspective, I think it's going to be a different story. There's a reason why people buy the iPhone Pro Max with pro level cameras and a maximum chip, all just to scroll Instagram. It's because of that marketing, that tier system. You know, why would you want the worst one out of the lineup? You want the best, right? So subconsciously, they're kind of playing that like, this one is better than this one, and then the premium is even better than the other two, when in reality, it's like there are three different shoes for three different purposes, and it's really just down to personal preference and what you're going to use these shoes for. It's the psychological trick of the tier system. Now, another point that I really wanted to touch on is like, how do these compare to the competition from New Balance, from Brooks, from Adidas? They all have max cushion options that are all really competitive. Well, if I had to pick my favorite, and in my opinion, the best max cushion shoe on the market from any brand, it would have to be the New Balance More V6. This is a brand new option. This foam is just insanely soft and cushioned. And in all honesty, I would probably take these, considering that they're $150 again, and these are all the way up at $180. You're getting a lot of the same benefits as far as a daily trainer, something that you can walk around comfortably all day. And in terms of like max comfort, these two are very similar. They both have a 45 millimeter stack height. New Balance's foam is just pretty incredible. However, and here's the big caveat, and something that Nike is excellent at, and that is design. In my opinion, this is the best looking max cushion shoe, so I think that would honestly sway me to pick these, because it's still a very comfortable pair of shoes. It's just, yeah, even though these are more affordable, like the looks of these, especially in the right colorway, which might not be this orange one, I just decided to go for this one because it's the only one I could get my hands on, but in the right colorway, these things do look really, really good. But if you don't mind the look of the New Balance pair, in terms of actual, like, which one is better, I'd probably take the New Balance. It's marginal, but with that price decrease, you can't knock this pair of shoes. But yeah, overall, it is an incredibly comfortable pair of shoes. The design is great. The looks are really nice. You've got full-length zoom, which is just such a great experience underfoot. It feels slightly bouncy and reactive while still being incredibly soft. But yeah, that 180 price point is tough. Now, one piece of this puzzle that we haven't exactly spoke about yet is the upper level, right? The premium model. What's that going to look like? Is it something that you potentially should hold out for? Well, the premium is a lot more ridiculous. That's where things change significantly. That is going to have a ridiculous 55mm stack height of ZoomX with 2 Zoom Air pods in the midsole as well. Those release on October the 2nd, and those definitely depart from that like hybrid shoe, something that you can wear casually and running, and that definitely goes more into the serious running category, which means if you are a serious runner and you want like the best type of shoe for everyday training recovery runs, that's probably going to be something that you might want to hold out for and at least experience before you pull the trigger on these. But they are huge. They are cheeked up and they are going to cost a lot more than these. But for the rest of us, people who just want something to wear on a daily basis as a casual option, or when we do some light recovery runs, these two are going to be the way to go. Both great options from Nike, and I don't think you should completely disregard the most affordable option. I think they did create something really, really cool with the Vomero 18s, and it's still one of my favorite shoes. But yeah, this is the beefy older brother, which I think is also really, really solid. Either way, let me know what you think of these down in the comment section. Which one would you take? If you haven't tried either of them, which one would you take just strictly based off of looks? Which one do you like the look of more? Leave your thoughts down in the comment section. And of course, I'm going to leave a video in the top left corner. If you want to check it out, just click right over there.